The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good day, everyone. MBA Women International is pleased to present this webinar entitled, How to Minimize the Impact of Sequestration Cuts in Your Household. My name is Hannah. I'll be your moderator for this session. Please note that today's call is being recorded and all participant lines will be muted during this broadcast. If you need assistance at any time today, please email us at webinars@mbawomen.org. This session will last 60 minutes and include a question and answer period at the end. However, feel free to pose a question at any time during today's presentation. You may enter a question by simply typing it into the question box on your control panel and then clicking the send button. These instructions will be repeated later in the program. At this point, I would like to introduce today's speaker. Hareen Freeman is the CEO and owner of H.E. Freeman Enterprises, which provides financial counseling services to help clients restore their credit rating and develop good money management skills to pay off debt, save and plan for retirement for the past 12 years. She's an energetic speaker, author, personal finance expert, and freelance writer. She was once $19,000 in debt, only making $21,000 a year, and was successfully able to get herself out of debt without filing for bankruptcy. Her knowledge and tips have helped her diverse clientele restore their credit, learn how to manage their finances, and get totally out of debt. Her personal experiences with debt and business savvy have proven her to be an effective and competent speaker on personal finance and business credit issues. She is also the author of How to Get Out of Debt, Get an A Credit Rating for Free, a self-help book on credit repair that provides consumers with a step-by-step plan on how to get out of debt, increase their credit rating, and maintain their good credit. Her purpose and passion in life is to give back to her community and help others become savvy in personal finance. Her book won the 2011 New York Book Festival Award. She currently lives in Washington, D.C. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Hareen Freeman. Welcome to the program.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for attending this financial webinar, How to Minimize the Impact of Sequestration Cuts in Your Household. And as Hannah said, I am Hareen Freeman, a financial literacy advocate, counselor, and coach. This webinar will discuss practical and effective ways to maneuver the sequestration cuts, learn how to spend less, quickly identify negative spending patterns, pay down debt, and develop good spending habits. Today's agenda, we will talk about who will be affected by the sequestering cuts, key tools, how to treat your household like a business, woes and accounts, budgeting, how to reduce debt, how to reduce spending, how to save and protect your money, and wealth generation. We will also have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. I just want to give you a few statistics. Women earn 70 cents for every dollar a man earns, which automatically puts them at a financial disadvantage. Women are generally not encouraged to become financially savvy and are more encouraged to be dependent on their spouses, even though more women today are becoming college graduates and entrepreneurs. Women also lag behind in finances and with confidence to set and obtain financial goals. Buying everything in your heart's desire is not really reality. You have to be satisfied with what you have instead of wanting what someone else has. Women are more likely to carry a balance, pay the minimum payment on their credit cards, and be charged a late fee. Women often put others' needs first and focus on other priorities. However, women must put their needs first, especially regarding finances. Once your credit and finances is ruined, it takes years to recover. Mastering your finances is a critical component of financial success and will change the course of your life, your family's life, and future generations. The sequestration cuts Automatic spending cuts will be across all federal agencies for the next 10 years. If a compromise is not reached, mandatory cuts will be implemented. The sequestration previously occurred in 1999, and cuts totaled $1.4 million of the budget. The sequestration will affect many job industries. There will be a reduction in emergency responders. There will be a reduction in food safety personnel. Food will not be able to be shipped because food has to be inspected before it can be shipped. There will be cuts to the FBI, which also involves fingerprint checks for persons who want to purchase guns. There will be a loss of teachers. There will be a reduction in U.S. attorneys, which will cause a delay in court cases. There will be a loss of government benefits and programs. There will be reduction in IRS staff, reduction in national parks. There will also be reduction in unemployment benefits, as well as federal and D.C. government employee furloughs. There will also be a reduction in take-home pay, and employees may have to do more work at the same or less pay. There will also be cuts to the FAA, and it will cause airport delays and potential closing of air traffic control towers. In addition, there will be education cuts. There will be an elimination of access to Head Start programs for 70,000 children. There will be a reduction in federal impact aid to educate children who reside on federal property, which will result in fewer teachers, less curriculum purchased, and deferred building and maintenance. There will be a reduction in Title I funding, which affects disadvantaged and at-risk students. In addition, the education cuts may require spending more time with the children, doing their homework, reinforcing topics taught in school, and may require hiring tutors. There will also be cuts to financial aid. There will be a reduction in the TEACH Teach grant, and so the maximum yearly award will be reduced to $3,496. Any direct loans dispersed from the Department of Education after March 1st of this year will have to pay a higher loan fee. So for example, if you have a subsidized or unsubsidized loan, 1.051% of the principal amount will be increased. So basically, if you have a loan for $5,500, the loan fee will increase by $280. So instead of paying $55, you will have to pay $57.80. If you have a Direct Plus loan, there will be a 4.204% increase of the principal amount. So for example, if you have a loan for $10,000, the loan fee will increase by $20.40 from $400 to $420.40. So with these cuts, I encourage you to have your college students apply for scholarships, grants, work study, co-op fellowships, or work and go to school to reduce the impact of the financial cuts. Women, infants, and families with children will also be affected. Title X, which affects family planning and preventive health for low-income families, the immunization program, the Safe Motherhood program, the National Institutes of Child Health and Human Development, the National Center for Birth Defects and Development Disabilities, and Health Resources and the Administration Bureau, as well as the Children's Hospital Medical Education Program. So with these cuts, it may require families to purchase supplemental insurance, find research clinics, hospices, or centers that provide specialized treatment. There will also be cuts to health and social services. There will be a reduction in mental health services. There will be a reduction in research. There will be a reduction in HIV and AIDS medication and treatment. There will also be a cut to rental assistance for low-income families, also known as Section 8. There will be a reduction in Native American funding for human services, law enforcement, schools, economic development, as well as natural resources. There will also be a reduction in Meals on Wheels, and there will be less aid for homeless individuals. A way to reduce the impact to you is to sign up for barter networks, and there's a website, barternews.com, and you can barter any type of services that you need to help reduce the impact to you and your family. There will be military personnel cuts. Commissionaries will close on Wednesdays in all state locations. There will be cuts in military health care, which will cause difficulties in getting appointments, medications, and create longer lines. There will be extra services that will be reduced or eliminated, such as nutritionists or counseling. There will be a decrease in funding for schools run by the DoD, Department of Defense. Child care furloughs and reduction or elimination of free services will occur. There will also be a reduction in military housing, and several military programs such as the Fleet and Family Support Center, the Soldier and Family Assistance Center, the Airman and Family Readiness Center, the Marine Corps Community Services Center, as well as sexual assault prevention and response programs and substance abuse programs. Also, civilian employees may be subject to furloughs, and civilian and contractor employment by the DoD, Department of Defense, will decrease. If you are military personnel, you may want to work overtime, try to get overtime, and you may want to try to gain new skills to increase your income so you will not be impacted. There will also be additional cuts for small business owners. So if you are a small business owner, you may have reduced access to credit to buy new equipment, hire employees, or expand your services. You may have to have a reduction in employee benefits due to the reduction in small business loans and funding. Also, there will be a release of thousands of illegal immigrants, some who are criminals, so that will impact the safety in the country. Another way to reduce the impact to small business owners is to find angel investors, venture capitalists, use crowdfunding or crowdsourcing. And basically crowdfunding is when individuals network and pool their money together, usually using the internet, to support an effort initiated by an individual or an organization. Crowdsourcing is basically where you obtain services, ideas, or content by soliciting contributions from a large group of people, especially from an online community, rather than from traditional employees or suppliers. Things that will not be affected by the sequestration cuts are Social Security, Medicaid, Earned Income Tax Credit, retirement benefits for federal employees, child nutrition programs, breakfast and lunch, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP, or the food stamps, as well as Pell Grants and pay for military personnel. Now, all of this information is subject to change at any time, but currently this is the plan that is laid out for the sequestration cuts. Why families struggle with finances? Many families struggle with finances due to the economy. Some spouses or families have a mismatch of money and family values. Some may have grown up in a low-income area. Some may have grown up in a single-parent household. Some may be savers. Some may be spenders. And so those values tend to clash and cause struggles with families and their finances. Some have lack of money management skills. Some may struggle due to the loss of a loved one or a long-term illness. Some may struggle due to lack of health insurance or due to overdue medical bills. Some may just make bad decisions. Some may have been victims of fraud or scams, either identity theft or some kind of money scam. Some may struggle due to downsizing of companies due to layoffs, unemployment, or reduction in company benefits. And some may be affected because of a reduction or termination of government benefits and aid. Many families have experienced traumatic issues, and because of lack of financial literacy education in schools, colleges, and with employers, they struggle with their finances. Many are impulse shoppers. They have shopping addictions, or they buy things as soon as they see them in the store. Some are tempted from advertisers, and the ease of use makes it easier for families to get into debt and struggle with their finances due to instant purchases at stores and online shopping websites. You need to adjust your spending because in the past 5 years, 3 financial crises have occurred. There was a recession in 2008, the fiscal cliff in 2012, and the sequestration in 2013. Yearly increases in living costs and college tuition affect your pocketbook. You also want to make sure that you adjust your spending to protect yourself from any economic issues that occur. And you want to make sure you adjust your spending to keep your debt low. And you want to make sure you preserve your credit. The future of the economy and the job market is uncertain. Social and government programs and funding have been cut or will be cut. And many Americans are still unemployed, filing for foreclosure or bankruptcy. So it's really critical that you adjust your spending and make any necessary cuts now to minimize the impact to you and your family. There are some key tools that you can use to help with your family finances. The first thing is to remain calm. A lot of people make emotional decisions, which are usually bad decisions. So you want to remain calm and make decisions when you are not emotional. You also want to be honest about your particular situation as well as be honest with your spouse. You want to make sure that you are realistic but not pessimistic. Eliminate negative money habits and money thinking. Some people may say, oh, I'll always be broke, or I'll always be in debt, or I'll never be able to do this or that. You want to eliminate those negative thinking and negative thought patterns because whatever you think does come to fruition. You don't want to make decisions based on emotion or fear, and you want to make sure you try to get advice from a support group or professional, either your family, your friends, your church, civic or social organizations you go to, or a professional financial expert. You want to try to be the best employee possible if you are currently working. Many employers have fired people because of their job performance or for a disagreement or something of that nature. So you want to try to make sure you are the best employee possible to ensure that you keep your job. And if you are an employee, you want to try to volunteer for any extra work or any assignments, which helps to present you in a more positive light with your employer. You want to make sure you never pay retail for prices or argue over prices. There's always a cheaper way to purchase an item. You also want to make sure you don't spend a lot of money on food or electronics. And you want to make sure you buy a larger size. You don't buy a larger size or more than you need. Many people live an excess lifestyle, and you want to scale down and scale back your lifestyle. Also, you want to make sure you don't pay for features that you don't use or need. And you want to make sure that you don't spend money to show off. And you don't want to buy trends or fads because trends or fads come out all the time, and you want to make sure that you don't get caught up in that cycle because you really waste a lot of money buying trends or fads. You want to buy items that are in style and are of good quality that will last, so you don't have to continue to buy the fad items. You want to make sure that you don't believe the hype from media, friends, and family. You want to make sure you avoid watching commercials and reading catalogs or advertisements to avoid temptation to buy items such as on QVC or the shopping channel. Another key tool is to treat your household like a business. Many times people spend 30 to 40 hours each week working. They spend 56 hours each week sleeping or more, some less. They take time to eat, watch television, listen to the radio. They take time to go out. They take time to read books and go shopping. But many times people don't take the time to manage their finances. And you get out what you put in. You want to make sure that you manage your money because it helps determine what you can do, and it helps you take control of your life. It also helps to organize your finances and organize your family structure. Some other ways to treat your household like a business: you want to make sure you get organized. Set ground rules. So, for example, you want to set ground rules. If someone gets paid 1 week, you want to set the rules for how the money is going to be spent, what bills are going to be paid. If you go out as a family and you go to a movie, you want to set ground rules for how much money you're going to spend. If you go to the movies can be very costly, so you want to set a limit. You don't want to buy all the candy in the display. You don't want to buy supersized drinks if you're not going to drink the whole drink. So you want to set ground rules about spending for your family. You want to also set up consequences for violations of the ground rules, and that helps to reinforce good spending habits in your family. You want to create a petty cash account or an emergency fund. You want to create an emergency fund that covers all of your monthly bills for 9 to 12 months, and that will help protect you in case you experience a financial crisis. You also want to make sure you track family spending, which is similar to a profit and loss statement. You want to make sure you take action and create an action plan for your family to help plan out future goals for the family. You want to make sure you consider the entire family when making purchases. If you know that you have to purchase some items for your children, but you go out and spend the money that was allotted for that, that's going to cause a problem and a struggle in your family. So you want to make sure you consider the entire family when you spend money. You also want to make sure you hold family meetings. You can have a meeting weekly, monthly, every 3 months, however. You want to include the whole family in your financial picture. So you create a steady cash flow and have a savings account to ensure that you are not affected by the economy and to minimize the impacts of any financial crisis. You also can create an index of where financial documents are located. You can either keep them online, in a file cabinet, or in a special area in your home, and make sure that your certain family members know where those documents are and that they're easily accessible. You also want to make sure your spouse has access to all accounts and to all files and knows how to access them. Household rules. Both roles, the CEO and the CFO role, can be performed by the same person, but you have to have a backup person who can fill both roles if the designated person is unable to perform both roles. So the first role you have is CEO, and that person identifies future household expenditures. They categorize expenditures as either non-discretionary or discretionary, needs versus wants. They develop a household strategic spending plan. They also set the household budget. They ensure the family understands the strategic spending plan as well as the budget. And they refine the strategic spending plan as necessary. The CFO establishes and maintains financial records and spreadsheets. They ensure all bills are paid on time. They actively track household expenses and income. They identify present and future household expenditures to support strategic financial planning. They ensure strategic spending plans and budgets are faithfully adhered to. They ensure bank accounts are balanced each month. And they identify negative financial trends and potential trouble areas that need to be addressed. And here is just a organization chart. So I have an example, the Smith household, and so we have the CFO and we have the CEO, so you can see it in a visual representation of the roles for each position. Now we talk about household financial accounts. You want to make sure you divide the household income into separate accounts to align with your budget expenditures or categories. You can have a vacation account, you can have a separate bills account, you can have a fund account, you can have a savings account, you can have an emergency fund account, which I talked about, to have enough money to cover your bills for 9 to 12 months. You can have a medical account if you have to pay out of cost medical expenses. You can have a home repairs account, you can have a car repairs account, or you can have a daily expenses account or miscellaneous account. You can also create one separate account and pay all of your bills and keep all of your savings in one account. But it may be easier to separate your accounts into multiple accounts to track your spending that way. You also can set up automatic paycheck deductions to each account as needed. And so, for example, you can have one account for your bills, which is the bills account, You can also have an account for your day-to-day expenses, and in that you can include groceries, hair salon, gas for your car, gas repairs, and car maintenance, that kind of thing. And then your savings account should be a long-term account, longer than 9 to 12 months. So your emergency account is for unexpected emergencies, but your savings account is for long-term savings, and you can either have a separate savings account or you can create an investment account for long-term savings. Here is a picture of a household financial ledger. So basically you use this, you can use Excel, or you can use any other software to track your spending. You can list the date a bill was paid, the account that was paid, whether it was a debit or credit, the amount owed, the amount that you actually paid, and the due date. So this is just an easy way to track your spending and the bills that you pay. There are some smart apps. If you have a smartphone, there are some apps that you can use to do the same thing, but this is just a simplistic model to give you an idea of how to track your spending. This is an example of a summary household budget, and so basically this tracks the family budget. So you can list the bills that you pay, you can list whether it's the item is a credit or debit, and then you can list the total amount paid. So in this example, you see you paid an AT&T bill for $254, and that money was taken out of your account. You can see where you received a paycheck and for $2,200, and that was a credit to your account. So now you have $2,200 in your account, and so you can see in this example the total credits was $2,200, and the total debits was $1,325, and so you have money left over in your account. You want to make sure you also have a financial backup system. A financial backup system, you should create a bill contact log. You should make sure you back up files daily on an external hard drive or flash drive, or use an online backup system. You want to make sure that you don't store passwords or financial records in emails or on your cell phone. You want to make sure you store passwords in a secure location. And you want to make sure you create scenarios to ensure your finances are still managed if one spouse is unable to do the role. For example, how bills would be paid. So, for example, if one spouse has the flu for a week, or if one spouse is out of town, or if one spouse forgot the password, or if your computer dies, at least the other spouse or other family member will have all of the account numbers, all of the passwords and financial information to ensure that bills are still paid. You also want to make sure you protect your financial data, and you want to make sure you don't carry bills or financial documents with you. You want to make sure you keep them stored in a secure location in your home or on an online system. This is an example of the bill contact log that I mentioned. So basically, you want to list the contact information for all of your bills. You can keep it in a paper document and store it in a secure location, but you want to make sure that the documents do not get damaged with water or moisture, or you can keep an online copy. So in this example, you can list the company, the payment address, the phone number, the hours of operation, the account number, the company website, any password or pins that you have, and then some companies require a secret question or password hint. And so you want to just keep a track of all that information so you have it handy. Especially if your computer dies, that will be really handy and helpful for you. And you want to make sure that you list all the information as possible and make sure that it is as detailed as you want it to be, and just keep it in an easy to find location. Family spending tips. You want to make sure that you avoid scams and risky products such as payday loans, title loans, cash advances, those kind of things. You want to make sure you avoid scams. A lot of scams appear in emails or text messages, so if you receive an email and if you're not sure it came from a company that you do business with, you can verify the email before you click on the link or provide any personal information. You want to try to reduce your spending by 30 to 50%. You want to make sure that every family member works together to help develop a plan to handle the finances individually as well as a family. You also want to make sure that families create goals, and you want to make sure that you set discipline examples to ensure that the family members achieve goals so that when they get more money, they manage it well, and that will make the money last longer. Many times families think they need more money, but only they need more discipline. Effective money management is solely based on how a family spends their money and lives their lives. Families should plan for their future, such as retirement, college for the kids, purchasing a home, etc. And you have to think about your future. That's the only way you can grow as a family. Families must work together as a team. So, for example, in a sports team, you have a team captain or you have co-captains, or in clubs, you have a president of a club, and that person provides guidance and direction on the actions that the members should take. And you have to be a good role model for your family. Financial defense tips. The best defense against any economic crisis is to track your spending, downsize or downgrade your lifestyle, purchase insurance, or follow voluntary simplicity. The best way to track your spending is to use self-discipline, create a budget or spending plan. And a general guideline for your budget or spending plan is housing should account for no more than 35% of your total monthly income after taxes. Savings, 10%. Debt excluding your mortgage, not including your mortgage, should be 15%. Transportation, and that includes your monthly car payment, car insurance, and any car repairs, should be no more than 15%, and all other expenses 25%. You can adjust these figures, but you want to make sure that you try to keep a balance with your spending. You want to delay any nice-to-haves. If there's something that you really want and you don't have the cash, you want to avoid using your credit card. So you want to delay purchasing that item until you have the cash to pay for it. You also want to make sure you track spending, everything that you spend money on, soda, water, candy, everything you spend money on. You want to make sure you track it either daily, weekly, or monthly. And there are several ways to do that. You can use software, paper and pen. You can use Word or Excel. You can use mint.com or other websites, or you can find an application on your smartphone. In addition, you want to make sure you create short and long-term financial goals and make any adjustments to your budget as necessary, and try to make your budget flexible to have room for unexpected expenses. And you also want to make sure you track needs versus wants. And basically, a budget is just a set of instructions that guide you on how you are spending your money. It helps you to track what you're spending too much money on, where your money is going. So, for example, if you're spending too much money on eating out, or you're spending too much money on clothes or vacations, your budget will help you to see that right away. And with tracking financial goals, you want to create short and long-term goals. A short-term goal can be a goal from 1 to 3 years, such as paying off your credit card. A long-term goal can be for 3 years or more, such as buying a home or starting a business. Needs versus wants. Sometimes people get confused about that, but needs are food, clothing, and shelter, and wants are everything else. Bottled water and hairdresser are not needs. So if you drink bottled water, you can buy a filter or a filter for your water pitcher in your refrigerator, or attach a filter to your water faucets in your home. If you spend a lot of money going to the hairdresser, try to find easy to maintain hairstyles, or try to find a friend or a relative who knows how to do hair and to help cut down on hairdresser costs. And then you want to make sure you plan your purchases. You want to save your money to purchase items instead of charging on your credit card. This is just a diagram of some budget benefits. So basically, the benefits of having a budget or a spending plan: it helps to increase wealth, it identifies what you earn, what you owe, and what you spend, and ensures that you don't spend more money than you have. Next, you want to downsize or downgrade your lifestyle, and you can do that by reducing your spending. As I mentioned, you can create an emergency fund to cover all of your monthly expenses for 9 to 12 months. You can comparison shop. You can buy generic brands. You can pay down debt. You can keep your credit card balances at 20% or less of the credit limit. So basically, if you have a Visa credit card and the credit limit is $1,000, the balance should be no more than $200 at all times. And that ensures that your credit score is not impacted. If your balance goes above 20%, your credit score will be lowered. You can try to move to a smaller home or move to a condo or an apartment. You can consider refinancing. You can consider buying a cheaper car, either buying, if you have a car and you need to buy another car, you can either buy a new car or buy a used car. And then consider bundling services to save money. You can also refinance your car as well as your home. And then you want to make sure you reduce excess. A lot of people have clothes in their closet still with the tags on them. They have more than 50 pairs of shoes. They have lots of jewelry or unused items in their home. So you want to make sure you reduce excess and don't buy in excess. Insurance. You want to make sure you buy insurance because insurance reduces your liability and financial risk. Many people go into debt due to lack of insurance. You want to try to comparison shop to find the best plan for your needs. And so you can buy health insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance, which helps when you are elderly and have health issues, auto insurance, and homeowners insurance. If you are a renter, if you rent a condo or apartment, you also want to consider purchasing renter's insurance. So if there's damage to your apartment, you are reimbursed for your losses. If there's a flood or fire or theft, the renter's insurance helps with that. Voluntary simplicity. This was started in the 1960s, and with this method, you only buy needs. You buy used items, you recycle, and you eliminate excess in your life, and you basically just live a simple life. So basically, this requires cutting back in various areas of your life by reducing expenses, being responsible with your spending, shopping frugally, and living below your means. And all of these things help reduce stress related to your finances and helps you move towards a debt-free life and financial independence. There's a website, freecycle.org, and basically you just type in your zip code to find a network in your area to get new or used items for free. And so anyone on the site, if they have items they no longer want, new or used, they will put out a notice, and you basically go to the person's house and pick up the item from their home. They usually live on the porch. So that's a great way to get new or used items to help you save money. You want to make sure you change your spending habits. Don't impulse shop. A lot of people are shopping addicts or buy things on impulse. You want to make sure you're patient. So a lot of people, if you go to the store and you see an item and you say, I have to get it now, wait a few days or wait a week, and if you still want the item, then you can purchase it. And by that time, the item has probably already been marked down. You want to make sure you don't avoid overdue bills or notices. You want to try to pay all of your bills on time. If for some reason you can't pay your bills on time, call the company to set up payment arrangements. You also, if possible, you want to make sure you pay your bills before the due date. And then you want to make sure that you limit your use of credit cards. No cash, no flash, which means that no money, it means don't use your credit. So if you don't have money, don't use your credit card. Because when you use your credit, it's just really imaginary money. It's not real money. You have to pay finance charges and interest fees every time you use that money. So it's best to pay for items in cash. And you want to try to make sure you ask for discounts. If you're doing service with a company, ask about any discounts. You can call every 3 to 6 months and see if the company has any discounts that you are eligible for to help you save money. It usually takes about 21 days to start a habit. It will take time to develop good spending habits, and it will take time to change them. You have to change the way you think about money. Money is a tool that can be used to achieve the things you want in life. Unfortunately, most people use money to get into debt. There are several benefits of good spending habits. It helps you to plan for the future. It helps you to gain control over your financial life. It helps you mimic the people who have good spending habits. It provides you money for unexpected emergencies, and it provides a reduction in the use of credit cards. Now, here are some ways to increase your income. You can work overtime. You can get a part-time job. You can work 2 full-time jobs. If you loaned money to others, you can request the money back. You can also develop barter networks. You can adjust your tax holdings for 6 months. You can sell assets to pay down debt. If you have adult children living with you, you may want to consider charging them rent, especially if it's a burden to you financially to have them living with you. You can use tax credits and deductions, and you can gain new skills at work or get new skills by going back to school. When you adjust your withholdings for 6 months, you want to change it back to the original setting, and you can use the tax withholding calculator to calculate your tax refund and your tax withholdings. The IRS.gov website has a calculator on there that you can use. Also, Quicken.com has a calculator that you can use to help figure out the amount that you need to adjust your paycheck and how it will impact the taxes that you owe at the end of the year. You want to make sure you monitor your spending. You want to keep all of your receipts. You want to reconcile your debit as well as your credit card purchases. You want to make sure you reconcile your bank statements. You want to make sure you check your bank statements for errors and fix them promptly because you only have a small window to fix errors. So you either want to check your statements online or call the automated 24/7 system to check your balance to make sure that no errors have occurred. You also can set up online banking. Online banking is a great way to track your spending. You also can automate your payments, so you can automate payments to pay your bills. And then you also can set up email or text alerts, which will notify you if your balance is getting low or if some issue has occurred with your account. You also can use mobile banking. If you have that feature on your phone, that's a great way to monitor your spending. And then you can use automated services for updates. So those are some great ways that you can monitor your spending. To reduce health care costs, you can search for a flat-free clinic. You just go to Google and type in flat-free clinic and the state that you live in, and you will find clinics that charge flat fees. You also can go to veterinary, barber, cosmetology, or dental schools to save money on services. You can get laboratory tests done at diagnostic labs instead of going through your doctor. So that is a way to save money. You can order prescriptions online or order supplies in 3 month supplies. You can also ask about discounted dental programs from dentalplans.com, AmeriPlan, Aetna, or Avia. You also can use discounted stores to fill your prescriptions, such as Walmart, Target, or Walgreens. And then you can also buy supplementary health insurance. So those are some great ways you can save on health care. Now, when you're shopping, you want to try to make sure you buy things on sale or buy things off season. So, for example, if you go shopping in the winter to buy clothes, you can buy spring clothes in the winter. And in the summer, you can buy winter clothes. Many times stores put those items on the clearance sale, and that's a great way to save money on clothes. You also can buy generic items, generic prescriptions, as well as generic food brands when you go to the grocery store. And those are some great ways to save money. You also can buy at wholesale and discount stores or online websites. You can shop at Costco, Save-A-Lot, Wegmans, Target, Walgreens, Walmart. Amazon.com is also a great site to purchase items. You can also use eBay to buy items or Craigslist. I shop at Whole Foods and I buy protein bars that cost $39.98, and I went to Amazon and the same protein bars cost $25. So I saved a ton of money just with one purchase of protein bars. So Amazon is a great way to save money. And then as far as gas, you can pay less for gas using gas rewards from grocery stores or other stores. So that's a great way to save money on gas, which is a huge expense for many families. You also can reduce grocery costs. You can grow your own food, your fruits and vegetables and spices. You can eat them home more often. You can eat breakfast at home or take your lunch to work. You can plan meals around items that go on sale, items that are in season. So, for example, when strawberries or oranges are in season, you want to make sure you buy them when they're in season. When they're out of season, the prices cost more. You want to try to comparison shop, compare different prices to see if you can find the cheapest price. You want to make sure you don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry, because you tend to buy everything that you see, even though you may not need it at that particular time. You want to make sure you buy generic items because they're much cheaper. Many times the generic brands are the same as the name brands, just for a cheaper price. You want to make sure you use store rewards cards. A lot of grocery stores have rewards cards, and you get discounts and specials and notifications about sales with the cards, which helps to save money. You can also shop at dollar stores for spices, packaged foods, snacks, and other foods and household items. You also can shop where stores accept coupons and they double the coupons, or stores that accept competitor coupons. You want to try to buy foods that are filling, inexpensive, and easy to make. You can try cooking meatless meals by substituting meat for pasta, vegetables, or tofu. You can buy lower grade cuts of meat and use them to cook in soups and stews. You can mix beans with ham hocks, turkey necks, or potatoes. You can buy lower grades of meat. You can also buy things such as, you can prepare things such as casseroles, soups, or stews, and that's a way to save money on your grocery costs. Ways to reduce utility costs: you can invest in energy-efficient light bulbs to save money on power bills. You can improve home insulation to reduce heating and cooling costs. You can insulate your hot water heater. You can try rinsing clothes in cold water. You can take lukewarm baths or showers. You can keep your heat at 68 degrees Fahrenheit and keep your air conditioner at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. If you aren't able to put your heat at 68 degrees, you can take baby steps. So, for example, if your heat is currently at 75 degrees, try reducing it 1 degree. Once you get comfortable with that, you can try reducing it 1 degree further, and just do it that way to ease the adjustment instead of going from 75 directly to 68 degrees. You want to make sure you keep your hot water heater at 120 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you have blinds or curtains in your home, you can open them to keep to bring the heat in during the winter, and then keep them closed during the summer to keep your home cool and reduce on utility costs. You also want to make sure you seal the drafts around your doors and windows. And you want to make sure you buy energy-efficient appliances. And if you have to get a new roof, you want to make sure the company uses energy-efficient materials as well as features to help save money. You also want to keep track of your debt ratio. Your debt ratio is how much debt you owe plus your mortgage divided by your net monthly income after taxes. And it should be no more than 35% of your monthly income. And this is generally what lenders use to determine if they will approve you for credit or a loan. You want to make sure you pay down debt. You want to make sure you stop charging, pay for items with cash. If need be, make sacrifices to help you achieve your financial goals. Create a debt payoff plan. You want to make sure you set up payment plans if you're unable to make payments. You want to make sure you set up automatic bill payments and get current on any delinquent accounts. Pay down bills, higher interest versus lower interest. Use any money left over to pay down debt. And you want to make sure you use any money that you receive, tax refunds, bonuses, or commissions, to pay down debt. There are tons of ways to save money. You can use online savings accounts, CDs, bonds, or investments. You want to try to save a minimum of 10% of every dollar earned. You can use automatic paycheck deduction, bank programs such as Wells Fargo, Way to Save, or Bank of America, Keep the Change. And you want to save all or a portion of your raise towards a savings account. And you want to try to get advice from others who have good spending habits. Some money-saving tips are: you can cancel memberships and subscriptions. You can rent movies at the library or use online services such as Hulu. Many TV stations have online services. You can use Netflix or Redbox. You can buy clothes in off-season. You can make your own clothes. Try to buy wash and wear clothes. use long distance on your cell phone instead of paying for long distance on your landline. If you use a car, you can use car sharing services such as Zipcar, Uber, Super Shuttle, and try to delay large purchases, and you want to make sure you plan for the unexpected. Also ask about discounts and specials with companies you do business with, and you also want to try to find free events in your neighborhood or join local neighborhood organizations to find out about free or low-cost events. You want to make sure you protect your assets by buying insurance, a home owner's warranty, or other warranties, and do estate planning. You can protect your assets with insurance, which protects from theft, damage, fire, or natural disasters. A home warranty is in addition to a home insurance, and a home warranty provides discounted repair and replacement service on things like your furnace, your washer and dryer, your refrigerator, and it protects against unexpected repairs and saves money when calling for service. And basically, some overall financial tips are you want to take responsibility for your actions, be accountable with your spending, take a look at what you've done, and you want to stop blaming everyone else. A lot of people blame others for past mistakes, but you want to take accountability for your actions, analyze your mistakes, and develop a plan to prevent making the same mistakes in the future. You want to stop living day to day and plan for the future. Try to make sure you find stable employment and ignore society and media stereotypes and biases. And you want to make sure you try to find ways to generate wealth, some of which are buying a home, starting a business, purchasing investment property, becoming a minority owner in a profitable business, keeping your debt low, being a franchise owner, donating items to charity, planning for retirement, using compound interest or tax-deferred investments, and protecting your assets. And so these are some of the ways that you can help minimize the impact of sequestration cuts to you and your household. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them now.
Thank you, Harine. Once again, we are now begin the question and answer period. If you have any questions, please type them into the question box on your control panel and then press send. We'll give everyone a few minutes to type in their questions. Here's the first one. Do you recommend any specific software program?
Yes, there are tons of tools that you can use. Quicken is a great tool, and Quicken can be used for business purposes as well as personal financial tracking, and so that is a great tool that you can use. You have to pay. It's a paid software, but it is a great tool to use to track your money. A free tool that you can use is mint.com.
Great, thank you. Here's another question. Which of the cuts is most likely to have the biggest impact on individual households?
The cuts that will most likely have the biggest impact on households will probably be the cuts to government and social benefits, government social programs, the impact to the food safety personnel, items that cannot be shipped without inspections, and the less items, food items that can be expected will cause a shortage in food, and so that may increase food prices. Also, there may be furloughs to federal and D.C. government employees, so that will affect your pocketbook. There may be a reduction in unemployment benefits, and then employees may have to take a reduction in pay or benefits. So those are things that will impact individuals. Also, if you have children that are applying for financial aid, they will be impacted. And then as well as any social services that you or your family use, they will be impacted. If you have any military personnel, they will be impacted by decrease in services that they receive and a decrease in military health care. And then if you have any individuals who are small business owners, they will be affected by the reduction in funding and loans that they receive.
Great, thank you. So we are coming up to the end of the presentation. We'll give everyone just another moment to submit any final questions. In the meantime, I'd like to remind everyone that a recording of this webinar will be available online at www.mbawomen.org/webinar-recording. If you would like to refresh your memory on the presentation, you can access the recording there. Looks like that's all of the questions for today. So I'd like to give a big thank you to Hareen for a great presentation. And thank you all for joining us today. This concludes today's program. Thank you. You may now disconnect.